networks.
What's the situation in Illinois for Bernie?
Bernie is in Illinois to drum up support. Illinois at one time was believed to be a lockdown for Hillary Clinton. That firewall seems to have eroded because people have had a chance to hear Bernie Sanders, to see Bernie Sanders, to look at his positions. And obviously, Bernie is speaking to the core issues that people across the country are concerned about. Tonight, we're at Chicago State University because the crisis in education, in public education in Illinois, this is the epicenter. This is an institution that educates African Americans, Latinos, and other students, and it is in danger of collapsing because the state has failed to fund education adequately. Bernie Sanders will talk about it. He'll talk about the future of college education and what the government needs to do to ensure that everyone who is able to attend college and wants to attend college or other higher education training can do so. That's why people are responding so enthusiastically to his message.
And how big was it that he won the Latino vote in Nevada?
It was real huge because Nevada was considered to be part of Hillary Clinton's firewall. Latinos were believed to be locked down by the Hillary Clinton camp because of the long name recognition, the generally positive association. When people came to hear and to understand Bernie Sanders' message, they said, this is a candidate speaking to the real issues that I'm concerned about. A living wage, job security, education, health care for all. These are things that the American people believe in, and that's why the message is resonating with people everywhere, including Illinois. Illinois is up for grabs. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Morning, everybody. That was Chuy Garcia in Chicago. That was last night with Scott Galindez, reader-supported news. And sorry, I'm just checking everything over here. Things bouncing around. We've got Scott with us in the background. We've got Janine with us today. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It's February 26th, and there's an awful lot going on in the news. Let me just check and make sure things are good with audio. How are we doing today? J Vintage 1970, Not for Sale, Bernie 2016. Hurry for Bernie, Jake Wimberly, Hannah, how you doing? Brenda Brown, Teddy, all sorts of people in here. Tor, M. Blake, this is Porter. Hi, Sean. Thank you for being in there. Hi, Bad Wolf, Robert Jordan. Wow, lots of people today. More than 100 of you already, is from what I can see. No, okay, maybe 80. We'll find out. I'm always trying to guess up higher than the number I actually see because I know it's not the right number.
One thing interesting.
Yeah, morning, Scott.
Good morning. With the Chuy Garcia interview, I've interviewed him other places, but this time, as soon as he came out into the public view, everybody started chanting Chuy, Chuy, Chuy. I think if the election were held today, that he would beat Rahm Emanuel. With the
Wow. Yeah. I don't doubt it either. I bet. How many people were there? Do you have an idea? It seemed packed.
They said 6,500 is what the Briggs press release said after the rally.
Wow.
It was packed to the rafters, but it wasn't as big as a arena type. The floor wasn't as big. So
interesting. Yeah, it was an amazing. Who was the speaker before him? Was it before him? Who was it? Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr.
I never knew that. I knew about Jesse Jackson Jr., but I never. It's the first time I ever saw John Jackson, Jesse Jackson's son.
Okay, thank you. That's who that was, John Jackson. I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Who is this guy? Okay. So, yeah, he was powerful. He had some good words to say. I like his testimony.
Thinking, why hasn't he run for anything? I guess he said that he tries to avoid introducing politicians, so maybe he doesn't like the limelight that much.
Maybe so. You're I don't know what's going on with your camera. I'm trying to figure it out right now. You're flopping back and forth. I don't know why. I'm going to swap cameras around real quick on you and see if that fixes it. That might be it. Hangouts today are working funky. Everybody look at Scott this morning. So we just want to look at Scott. Hang on 1 second, folks. Get this fixed.
The eyeglasses thing isn't up. That might be it. Let's see.
It's bouncing around on you. It's good. We'll go with this. Put Janine over here. Just had to flop some people around, everybody. Oh, lots of stuff to talk about. So Chicago was amazing. I don't know how many of you saw it, but before that, there were so many things there were so many events that happened yesterday. There was one we were supposed to get that we didn't get, then another one came through that we weren't even thinking of. The Flint, Michigan forum was one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. It was just crazy. It was intense. It was testimony from the people. It was what I wanted to see when a presidential candidate or a president or any politician comes to a town to fix something. That was exactly what I want to see. What do you, and Bernie did it beautifully. He basically said, what do you want? Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's really wrong, and then tell me what you want me to do to fix it. What would you like to be done to fix it? Now, the problem with this and what's amazing about Bernie and his positioning is that, you know, he's got to do this. He's got to do this and realize, the people have to realize that he can't fix this stuff. Right? He can go in there and say, you know, I'm listening to you. I want you to vent, which is really the point of that. Let the people vent. Let them have a voice. Let them say what's wrong. Don't listen to another talking head go on and on and on about we'll do this, we'll do that. I have no idea why Governor Snyder is even allowed to continue to do his job. Resignation is let me put this in perspective for everybody. I don't know how many of you remember politicians discovering social media over the last few years, but we've had many of them who have had to quit their jobs simply for posting dick pics or having to admit that they're having an affair or coming out of the closet. Well, if politicians lose their jobs, if their careers are ruined because of dick pics and their sexual choices, then why aren't they ruined when they murder children, when they put lead in water, when they burn people's skin? I don't understand how you can just call for resignation. I mean, Bernie's done it, but it's not working. I don't know why the federal government hasn't gone in and just hauled this man out on his ass, thrown him in handcuffs, and put him in jail. It's where he belongs. I don't understand. Well, he's a white man in a suit and tie protected by the Koch brothers' money. I'm sorry. That's why. I forgot. I'm out of place there. Anyway, the forum last night or yesterday was amazing. Watch it. Listen to the testimony. Listen to what these people have to say. Listen to the bullshit. They send these people filters, but the filters get ruined when they run through hot water. Some of the things I heard, I could not believe. It blew my mind what was going on. So anyway, that was an amazing day yesterday with that. Very powerful speeches. And Bernie, did we get Scott back in? Looks like Scott's back in, sort of. Let Scott back. I want him to. There you are, Scott. I want you to tell everybody. There's been several people who have asked, and hang on, I'm gonna fix your view here. I'm gonna put you in the wrong paper. Nope, you're over here. There you are. Couple things actually. First, I don't know if we have anybody in comment mod, Janine. I'm not seeing any comments scroll through. For those of you who are dropping comments, who are chatting, good morning. I don't think we have anybody working the dock, so I won't be showing you anything in the lower third. So sorry for that, folks. But Scott, I've seen several comments, several people ask in Twitter and in YouTube, do you think Bernie's message, you've been following him along, but last night, yesterday, in general, the last couple speeches, I'm going to say, and you made this statement to me, you were like not so sure, but you got a chance last night. Do you think he's gotten more powerful? Do you think he's using more revolutionary words?
I'm not so sure about. I did notice that he did a lot more to expressed the differences between him and Hillary.
He definitely did.
One section where he went through the differences. That was new to me. I missed the last couple, the Utah and those speeches, but yeah, I get he's sharpened his message.
Well, I mean, to me, it sounds like more revolutionary fighting words, less I'm going to be cautious because I'm not really sure how these are going to get taken, right? He has started to use words like ripped off. We're getting ripped off by pharmaceutical companies, right? That's something I didn't hear him say at the very beginning. Right? He did drop a list of those 18 CEOs that he said were the worst, but now he's like literally calling out. He keeps calling out Goldman Sachs on this $5 billion fine, right? He keeps calling out the Wall Street ties. And the thing he said the other day that I thought was really telling was, and I hadn't heard him say this before, and maybe I'm missing it. Maybe you've heard him say this, where he said, where is your passion? What is your passion for this country? Are you willing to fight for it? And I've never heard him say that, but indicating to us this is a fight, folks. This isn't just an election. You're not just going to vote. Are you willing to fight to change this country? Have you heard that message? To me, that message is what's been escalating in his overall tone.
Definitely new to the stump speech, and I think one of the things that's going on is the campaign's getting a lot of people talking about the turnout. They're saying there's no indication that your revolution is really there. Their voter turnout's down in the Democratic races, and I think they're wrong. They're just comparing it to 2008, which was double what has been done before in any primary or caucus.
Right.
So if you compare it to 2004, 2000, then turnout's up. And it's just that comparing it to 2008 is definitely a disservice.
Well, because 2008 was really the first big change in terms of, I mean, Obama was a massive change. Obama occupied, those were warm-ups, right? And this is different. This one is a slower build because we have to involve the whole nation, and we are, right? As he moves on, as more people see him, he gains, right? And we know that. We know that. They're just out of curiosity. They're saying Sanders is likely to lose by 20 points in South Carolina. I don't think it's going to be 20 points. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that. I think they're going to be really shocked. What do you think?
Probably not, but I guess I'll start on my article.
Yeah.
I think the South is a place where Hillary's going to be strong.
Okay.
But I think that's her firewall, and it ends there. It doesn't go north and it doesn't go west. And if you look at recent polls, even since my article, there's polls that he's up in Wisconsin, up in Ohio, and if he wins Ohio, Wisconsin, and could definitely win New York, Hillary will claim it's her home state, but she's transplanted into New York, and Bernie still sounds like he's from Brooklyn, so the advantage in New York. And what it really comes down to, I think, delegate-wise, it's going to be close going into June 7th, and that'll be a big day when California and some smaller California and New Jersey are on June 7th.
Right. That's interesting you say that, because I was reading that in another article basically stating that Bernie could and probably will be behind until June 7th, right? Because California really is a late state, and we're expecting a big turnout in California for Bernie Sanders, right? That, and what you said about South Carolina also has been, I concur with you there, not because I know anything about it, but because basically what you're saying, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bernie can lose the southern states and still win.
Right.
So, yeah.
Especially like the Northeast, for example, they don't follow the South. Come on, they're definitely have pride in being more progressive than the South. There were some terms I was getting, but I won't use.
Right.
In the South, and then you look polling ahead in Ohio and in Wisconsin. If he dominates the Midwest, he could be ahead going into California.
Right. Exactly. And I think what we're seeing here, Scott, and I just pulled out the bottom piece of your article because you have some numbers listed here, some different numbers listed because
it's just how many delegates the states have.
Okay. But I mean, we know what's going on. The numbers they're reporting on establishment media are a partial truth. They're not really reporting on the full truth of what's happening in terms of delegates. As we've said, most likely Bernie will be behind in delegates until June, and he can lose all of the southern states and still win this race. And the Midwest, and here's I think this is the key. And this kind of goes into where we're going to go with talking about media and our group. But as long as we continue to get Bernie airtime on establishment media, we continue to wake that 24% of Americans, I'm going to guess a lot of them are in the Midwest, who aren't watching the internet, who aren't paying attention to the internet. Right? And to me, that's really the key to getting Bernie Sanders to win, is converting all these people, and we see it all the time. I see it all the time in a very small amount here with Bernie 2016 TV. I get tons of comments. You have no idea how many comments come through the YouTube channel and through the email, folks. Which is why I don't answer but a fraction of them, really. People say for all over, I wasn't going to vote for Bernie Sanders till I saw this. I didn't know who Bernie Sanders was till I saw this. I had no idea what he really stood for till I saw this. Mainstream media said this, but then I saw this. Right?
And it's not out of the question that Super Tuesday, it could be 6 states for Hillary, 5 states for Bernie.
Right. Right. I mean, if we go based on some of the other stuff we've read, there are indications that Bernie is actually going to have an advantage in Super Tuesday because he's dealing with a lot of white liberal states.
And 5,
but 5, is that what it is? 5 at least.
There are 6 that are pretty diverse. The first time that they had a Southern Super Tuesday, the goal was to get a Southern candidate. And Al Gore was actually in the race. He was the young upstart, and they wanted him. But it got ruined because Jesse Jackson ended up with more votes than anybody else on Super Tuesday, which opened the door for Dukakis ended up winning that year. And so the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Council, which Hillary and Bill were very involved in, had to wait. They didn't get their Southern candidate. And it was because of the African-American vote in the South. And that's, as long as she continues to do well among the older, more mainstream, always voting African-American vote, then she's going to do well in the South. But they're not going to be the majority everywhere. And in a lot of southern states, they're the majority of the Democratic vote because the whites are in the Republican Party.
Agreed. Well, and I'm just gonna jump in on a quick segue on that. We've seen in some of the polls, and I don't know if you've if all of the polls mirror this, but there was one yesterday I was looking at, and out of Republican supporters, Bernie, and I actually grabbed a quote yesterday. It seems to me that a lot of Republican supporters, be they Trump, Rubio, or whatever, definitely are more find Bernie the better candidate than Hillary for numerous reasons. One, because they think they have a better chance against Bernie Sanders. They don't want to go against Hillary Clinton. But also there was a quote last night. We were broadcasting an event, and one guy said, "I'm a Trumper, but you can tell Bernie actually cares and Hillary doesn't." That was from a Trump guy, right?
Well, there was, down to the end in New Hampshire, there were people torn between Trump and Bernie. There's
Right. Just real quick, it was. I'm going to cut into some administrative things. Janine, I'm looking at the Friday tab in the newsroom moderation document. I see people talking about it, but I don't see any stuff on the tab. That's all. And so I don't know if anybody's doing anything there. And where was I at? Now I forgot the second thing. Anyway. And that was it. I just wanted to talk about the newsroom tab, I think. Oh, no, 120 plus people right now. I always love saying that and finding out what the real number is. That's what I want to say. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're talking about Chicago. We're talking about Bernie Sanders' chances to win. We're talking with Scott Galindez here with Reader-Supported News, who was there last night in Chicago, and we're looking at his article. We're bouncing back and forth here. We're looking at his article where he's talking about Hillary Clinton's firewall does not go west or north. And, yeah. That's where we're at. Anything more you want to add about that, Scott, about Bernie Sanders and what we need to do to help him right now?
just pretty much after Super Tuesday, Hillary will rack up some delegates in Texas and Georgia and other places, and the mainstream media will say that their path is narrowed. But especially if he wins Massachusetts, Colorado, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Vermont, then I think he'll still be in great shape.
Good. I'm so glad you said that, and the key point to take away here, folks, is that Bernie's going to win a lot of stuff on Super Tuesday. He's not going to win South Carolina. Maybe he'll come close. Who knows? Maybe he'll win. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to jinx it. Maybe he'll win. But we got to not listen to establishment media. There are so many reasons we need to ignore them, and we need to push the truth. We need to push our message of the truth. The truth is getting blocked everywhere by everybody, and we're gonna go into talking about. We're gonna play a little. Nina Turner did a shout out to BTV, thanks to John Spalding, who was there in Cleveland, Ohio, trying to capture that, and he got a quote from Nina Turner. We're going to talk about what BTV is doing really quick. We're going to talk about the fan funding and the expansion into the Global Engagement Network and what we're trying to do, and why now, more than ever, it's important when you've got the executive at Twitter scrubbing the net of the hashtag #WhичHillary, because he's got a fundraiser happening this Sunday for Hillary Clinton. He's a big Hillary fanboy. So we got to make sure we scrub the net. There was over 460,000 impressions, tweets on that hashtag. We exploded on the web yesterday. We were killing it, and he censored you. Censored you. I want you to understand that that the web today is the same as newspapers were. So what the guy on Twitter did, the executive of Twitter, the editor of the newspaper that is Twitter, said, I want every article about #WhичHillary removed from my paper now. And he pulled it. He censored you. I want you to understand that, because it's not going to be the last time, and it's happened before with other hashtags. And YouTube does it all the time with DMCA bullshit takedowns. We are being censored by a fascist government. We are being censored, folks. No different than when they burn books. No different than when a Nazi government would come into a library and rip out books and burn them. Our government, our corporations are acting like Nazis, burning our information, censoring our truth, because they control the propaganda machines we use. They control the medium. This is a war, folks. And networks like Bernie 2016 TV, the Young Turks, Democracy Now!, there are many others. Networks like that, we are the last bastion of truth in this world. We are fighting a giant monster owned by 6 people. 6 corporations own the information on this planet. And they can wipe any of it they choose, anytime. We have to grow. We have to fight them. We have to band together as independent networks, or we are not going to be able to take back our nation and our planet, because they are controlling the information. Let's listen to Nina Turner give a shout out in Cleveland to Bernie 2016 TV. Listen to what she has to say about it, and then we're going to just talk a little bit about what we're doing with politicalrevolution.tv. Here you go.
John Spalding with Bernie 2016 TV. We have Nina Turner from Cleveland. She did the introduction for Mr. Sanders today. And how are you doing today, Nina?
I am doing wonderful. Hello, Bernie 2016 TV. Lovely. Glad you're out on the ground making sure that Senator Sanders' message is out there, regardless of whether or not the corporate media is covering them. Today, we had almost 5,000 people at a rally at Baldwin Wallace in Berea, Ohio. We all know that Ohio is the swing state of swing states. We're going to bring it to Senator Sanders. Again, thank you, Bernie 2016 TV.
You're the bomb.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Thank you.
Audio. Thank you, Nina. That helps. I'll be honest, folks. This morning, I was pretty down. I'm pretty down about some things that are going on, about not being able to coordinate stuff, about not being able to deliver streams. And hearing those words from Nina really helps. It's good to know that she knows what we're doing out here, and she appreciates the effort. And I know you guys do, but let me just talk about what the whole point of this was. And in the description, there's a link to a document, a Google document about the Global Engagement Network. And the original idea for this, folks, was to use engagement broadcasting, which is what we do when we're actually running lower thirds, which, hey, look, we've got some showing up. Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks for doing comments. When we do this, when we do the lower thirds like this, folks, and when we engage with you in comments in real time, and when we answer your questions in real time, that's called engagement broadcasting, and I invented it. It's not like a brag or anything. I'm just saying I created it several years ago. And I've been trying to get businesses to do something with it for years. And I've done stuff for the School of Rock and many nonprofit organizations and Social Media Today, and I created other series before I did anything with this, with Bernie 20, before Bernie existed in my radar, before Bernie was in my life, in our lives. This was what I was doing. I was trying to work with businesses to create the next level of broadcasting, engagement broadcasting, where we have a conversation together, right? And I had support from the SEO community, because in terms of SEO, it's a no-brainer, right? In terms of what it does, everything's about engagement. I'm just going to show you the original. This was the original card that I had created for it, but the idea is that you start with the internal communication, the roots of an organization, whatever that may be. You bring those people onto the internet. You do PR before whatever event. You have your live engagement broadcast, which is what we do with the Bernie Rally or one of our shows. You're resharing that event, and that's what we do when we take, like, We the People, and we chop it up into small chunks, and we post it out as a playlist so that you can watch individual segments. And then engaging around that all over on the web. That's what we do. That's what this process was designed for, and the volunteers that came into Bernie 2016 TV put this process to work as a volunteer group for Bernie Sanders, and that's why we were able to do what we did so well and so effectively. It's one of the reasons our channels get shut down by YouTube, is because we managed to do this so effectively. But what I really wanted to talk about was the long term. And the long term, this is an older model because it's changed a number of times, but the basic idea still sits. And the idea was to create the Global Engagement Network, all right? And that would be, at the time, we were thinking, and may still be, I don't know, a YouTube channel, an MCN. working just like other MCNs do, except I wanted it to be a nonprofit. And underneath that, we would have the Channel for Humanity, Engage the Music, and politicalrevolution.tv. Right? And you can see the Real Newsroom is broken off into its own channel. But right now, we don't really have the capability and the resources to do all of that. So what we're going to do, and what we've done now, is broken off to a channel called politicalrevolution.tv. And the newsroom will eventually move there. And we'll move other shows there. We the People will stay on Bernie 2016 TV, and Bernie 2016 TV will continue to broadcast Bernie rallies. But our other shows will move over to politicalrevolution.tv so that we can better work with other organizations without having the concern of them being on Bernie 2016 TV, which we've heard from a lot of organizations. That's a bit of a problem, right? Because they don't want to limit themselves to that, and that's the name of the channel. Not a problem. So just know that it's all connected together. It's the same group of volunteers, the same people here. But the goal is to create new programs like Disability TV, and we had Native Life, and I'd like to start that back up again, and I'd like to do a new show with Dr. Franz Whitfield and maybe Tim Black and some other people on African American matters. And you know the offer I've made to everybody and anybody about this, and we'd like to get more of the politicians that we've had on We the People come back and do regular series for their own states and their own areas. That's the whole idea here, is to create a series of programs for you, for us, about things that we need to know about issues that we need to discuss. I'm working with Ezra Silk about creating a regular climate series so we can talk about the disasters that are ongoing, what the establishment media ignores. So that's the long-term goal. And the reason I'm telling you all of this, is because we have to make a shift now. We have to shift our information from old, traditional, closed networks, which are filtering our content heinously, to the internet. But we need to think beyond that, and that's why I make a call to Anonymous, a call to Occupy, a call to coders, to hackers. We need to move beyond that, because even our information, like we've seen on Twitter, can be censored instantly, because we do not control that medium. And if the TPP passes, we won't control the internet either. And books will be burned, articles will be trashed, movements of the people that are expressed through social media will be squashed by an executive's decision. We need to fight that. We need to subvert it. We need to find a new way around it. We need to be able to broadcast our message of freedom regardless of, despite the establishment media, despite the owners of the net. So I'm just throwing that out there, that we need to be prepared for that battle. And I think Bernie's words echo that call. I think Bernie's words about what are you passionate, what drives your passion for this country, and are you willing to fight for it? Because we're going to have to. I'm looking at your comments, folks. Sorry to be a bummer. Scott, you have anything to say on that in terms of censorship? Have you seen anything going down at these rallies, or I don't know. It's just got me pissed off.
Well, I'm not so sure about seeing censorship, but I see in the mainstream media them just dismissing Bernie, and still the spin that Hillary has her firewall and the momentum and the likely nominee. They still say it, and
right, they're going to keep spreading that. They're going to keep spreading that misinformation because the people tapped into the pipeline are going to believe it. They're just going to believe it. That's
and I got to watch the Chris Matthews thing.
How was that? I saw a lot of shit about it, that he was terrible, but it was to be expected.
Yeah, he just kept pushing on well, how are you going to get Congress to pass this stuff? And just the answer, how is Hillary going to get Congress to pass anything that she's proposing? It's
right.
Every Democrat has the same problem.
What did they say to Obama? They asked Obama, said, how are you going to get Congress to pass this? You know what he said? I don't know, we're not. We're going to sit here for 8 years and not do shit. basically what happened with him. We're not going to pass anything, Chris Matthews. So here, I think that's a great point to make. The bottom line is we're changing our government, Chris. We're going to kick out politicians. This is a revolution, dude. I'm not too worried about it. I mean,
Joy, whatever her name is on MSNBC, she was like, well, Obama had that revolution. That's what OFA was supposed to do, was to push. What the problem with OFA was they turned it over to the DNC, and it was not a grassroots organization anymore. It was the DNC asking people to make phone calls. That's what OFA became. They weren't organizing marches or anything like that. It was the grassroots was out of it, and that's the reason the Obama revolution or movement just ended after the election, because they turned the organization over to the DNC.
Exactly. Anybody who thinks, look, we've been bamboozled, folks. Anybody who thinks what Obama did was bring us hope and change has to realize Obama was working with the establishment. Obama is the establishment. He brought us a little hope, a little change, a little woo, we're going to be happy with this guy, some great talk. And he did try to bring us affordable health care, and we did pass some convoluted, bullshit, watered-down version of the Affordable Health Care Act. Yay! It's no different than the tiny incremental changes that every establishment politician has delivered over the years. Just wait. We'll get it a little better. Don't be unrealistic. We can only move it this far. Bullshit. This is our government, our money, our choices. The only thing stopping us from making these moves, the big ones, the big giant moves we want to make, are stuffy rich folk in Congress. That's it.
And then you hear people say that, well, Obama had 60 votes. Why didn't he get all this done and that done? And he never had 60 votes. He had Joe Lieberman. He had Mary Landrieu. He had all these Republican wannabes.
Right. We've been lied to, folks. The problem is we have to wake up the whole country in order to affect change, and we're working on it. It's going to take a while. We hit D-Day with the beginning of the primaries. That was it. That was the beach landing, okay? That was it. We hit 5 beaches, we landed, and now we are moving on the ground. And it's tough, and it sucks. And everywhere we go, we're hearing that we're losing, and we're not doing so well, and we're getting all the misinformation. And this happens during war. We are at war. This is what happens. The enemy, the establishment, will push out propaganda to try to discourage the troops on our side, to try to discourage us from continuing forward. But we must not stop. If you want a planet to live on in the next 20, 30 years, and that was something that caught me last night, Scott, and that was why I asked who was it? Jesse Jackson Jr.'s son, John Jackson? Is that what he said it was? Okay, John Jackson made a statement that I thought was very, very, was beautiful. He said, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't John Jackson. It was Tim Canova. Too many events, really, too many events in a day. Tim Canova yesterday, folks, was before the evening broadcast that we had in Chicago, and he made a brilliant statement. It was nice to finally hear a politician make these statements publicly. He said, I'm from the state of Florida, sea level, Florida, okay? It's like we're looking at the next 20 years, a whole bunch of our coastline, 20 years. Tim will be alive. Tim's kids will be alive. Any investment Tim's made in real estate will be alive. Any investments anybody else has made in real estate, 20 years, folks, it's not a lot of time. Tim's like, yeah, a good portion of all that coastline is going to be underwater in 20 years. It's already screwing up our state. We've already got massive problems. The next 10, 20 years, we're looking at huge swaths of real estate, huge amounts of city being underwater. In 20 years. with what we know about how climate moves and how we affect it, we know that it's going to take effort now, right now, to stop that. And we're doing nothing. Nothing. Not only are we doing nothing, folks like Ted Cruz, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, Ted Cruz just blocked the bill that would have gone to start helping Flint. Useless, worthless piece of shit that he is, wish somebody would load a bullet, and that is my personal opinion. I'm not advocating violence, just saying. Not sure why Ted Cruz exists, but he alone blocked this bill that would have gone to start helping Flint, or at least gotten federal movement, somebody get off their ass and start looking at it. It's unbelievable.
Ted Cruz, I don't.
What?
What do people see in Ted Cruz? He just sounds like he's whining all the time. Everything he says, he sounds like he's whining. I've never understood how anybody could support him.
I don't either. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Robert Jordan, we turn on a dime and put a man on the moon. Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at some of the comments right now. No one in the MSM talks to financial ties to Hillary Clinton that are literally all failures. Yeah. Sorry, Brenda. People that live in America are stupid. They don't even bother to vote. We are all doomed. Brenda, are you an American? Or are you an unfortunate citizen of another nation who's looking at America and going, what the fuck? I agree. I am sad. But you got to understand that the majority of Americans are victims of their own system. They're victims of the education they didn't receive. They're victims of the information they weren't given. Right? Even the journalists that are functioning as journalists have been raised in that indoctrination. So for all we know, half of them just believe the bullshit, and they're not able to rise above it. It's an amazing situation that we're in. We have been educated poorly. We have generations of indoctrinated human beings that don't recognize that they're going to vote for their own oppression if they vote for an establishment politician. And it's just, that is why I keep saying, folks, that we will do everything we need to do to get Bernie Sanders elected and beyond. We need to replace Congress. So Chris Matthews, when you ask, how are we going to get Congress to do that? We're going to kick out the people that don't do what we want, because that's how a democracy works, Chris. It doesn't work by greasing everybody's wheels and fucking and sucking and handing people cash. That's how the establishment system works. But the democracy we're supposed to have is supposed to be for the people, of the people, by the people, and we don't have that. We don't have that anymore. I want to cut to a different article before I get too pissed. This is I just want to talk about the case for raising a minimum wage, because it really pissed me off the other day that the, what is it, SIEU or SEIU, I don't know their exact thing. They were basically lying. The union guy there, whatever, made flyers saying Hillary Clinton supports the fight for 15. And I Scott, did we ever clear up, is like the fight for 15 tied directly with SEIU or whoever they are?
No, I think SEIU is a part of it, but I've always thought the fight for 15 is a lot more radical than the SEIU.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would agree. And so this whole thing, folks, they're misinforming. Well, the only reason I brought it, the case for minimum wage, we're going to talk about that in a second, but the SEIU basically printed flyers that said that Hillary Clinton was for fight for 15. And she's not. She's made it very clear that she approves a $12 an hour wage, because Wall Street can't see it in their generosity to understand why 15 is what we're asking for, but in reality 22 is what people should be making had we kept pace with inflation. Had we kept pace with cost of living, we'd be making about $22 minimum wage. So when we ask for 15, you just need to shut up. A CEO today makes 300 times what the bottom worker does. In 1970, they used to make 10 10 times. We went from 10 to 300. So when we talk about why we can't do a $15 an hour minimum wage, I look at the CEO and I say, it can come right out of your fat ass. Right? That's when people say, why don't we have the money? Where's the money going to come from? It comes right out of CEOs' fat asses, because you have manipulated our government to work solely in your favor. So a $15 an hour minimum wage is actually too low. And we're going to look at that with this article by Bill Ellis. Some interesting points brought up here about what it really takes to survive in the United States of America. And I'm just going to read a few statements. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25. Colorado's is about $1 more at $8.31. Okay? And that's too lofty for fast food workers, people say. Too lofty, all right? So if the cost of living, how much is a living wage? So this MIT professor, Bill is quoting here, basically went through and did the calculation, all right? For one adult with no children, a living wage in our country is $25,000 before taxes. All right. If you look at the Colorado minimum wage, folks, and this is what Bill's saying here, the Colorado minimum wage leaves short about $3.95 an hour, based on what the $15 an hour minimum wage would do. Right? If you add, but if you what we're looking at here is if you add all of the actual expenses, because $15 an hour is what one person can survive. They can't even really survive on that, but that's one person. You add a child to that equation, and you're screwed. You add a child to that equation, and it doesn't even work. So I want you to go to that article, read it, look at the math. Look at the math. One child, the MIT calculator comes with 52,000. That's what you need. You need $52,000, according to this MIT calculator, to raise a child and yourself today in the United States of America. $52,000. $15 an hour gives you about, what, 31. $15 an hour gives the single human being about a $31,000 a year salary. That is not enough to raise a child on. Somebody suggested yesterday that Congress be put on minimum wage, and it's you know, I think it was Tim that said, I don't understand how Congress can think they even get it when they're getting a salary of what, $150K, $144,000 a year. Not to mention they're in the establishment machine, so they're all making money on the back end. They're all making money. They don't even need their salary. I think they need a $15 an hour minimum wage, and let's see what they can accomplish with that. Let's see how they live. Okay? They wouldn't be able to live. Trust me, I know. I know. I just wanted to cover that because I hear a lot of people talking about the value of that for an hour and the job, and so I want to finalize it by saying this. $15 an hour is the minimum for the easiest job there is. I don't know what that is. I'm just defining it as the easiest, simplest. Anybody can do it. The first job you could ever possibly get anywhere as a person applying for a job that doesn't require any skills at all. The most minimum skilled job at all today should be $15 an hour. Everything else above that should be a higher wage. So if you're a fast food worker, you should be making more than $15 an hour. Right? That's really what we mean when we define that today. We need to redefine wages and redefine work based on a person's value, not what the corporate asshole assigns to the value. All right, done ragging on that. A lot of good comments today. A lot of good comments today. Thank you for being here, guys. I want to run. We're gonna go into Hillary bashing because it's time. And we're gonna play a clip by Tim Black. And this is Tim Black talking about the Black Lives Matter activists that confronted Hillary Clinton and Hillary's disrespectful response, the super predator comments. I don't know how much more has to come out about Hillary Clinton. I don't know how much more voters for Hillary have to see before they recognize that they're voting for a person who just doesn't give a shit. I don't know what needs to happen there to make that happen. What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? Talk about the minority vote. We actually have a clip we can run about that. I'll see if I can find it. But let's let Tim Black see what he has to say about the minority vote. Yes, it's time for Hillary bashing. Monetary value is not human value. Exactly. Monetary. It is. As my favorite new tune says, it is the end of the corporate age. We are moving into the age of the people. It is our time. Time to take back this rock, make it better, and remove money as the primary source of existence. Money has become all, and that's we need to remove that. People are all. We are what matter. Together, we are what matter. Without us, money is irrelevant. You don't have a rock to use it on, kind of irrelevant. So there's Tim Black about Hillary Clinton, and you know, if you're black and you're voting for Hillary, if you're any color and voting for Hillary, if you're a human being and you're voting for Hillary, you're voting for your own oppression. Doesn't make any sense.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. Man, I got to talk to you real quick, South Carolina. You are not going to believe what happened. Hillary Clinton was giving a speech tonight in South Carolina. She was talking about, the shooting at the AME church. She was talking about, how much she loved black people. And in came some Black Lives Matter activists. A woman by the name of Ashley Williams and a friend. They paid $500 to get into the event. And they asked Hillary Clinton some questions. Oh, they asked her some good questions. Questions I want to know the answers to. They asked her, why back in the 90s did Hillary Clinton say that young black males were super predators? They asked her, why did she back in the 90s say that young black men need to be brought to heel? Heel, boy, heel. They wanted to know what Hillary meant when she said that. And why hadn't she apologized for saying it? Of course, she didn't apologize for saying it. She said, well, I don't know. I got to think about it. I've never been asked why I called black men dogs. I never thought about why I called little African-American men, little youth, black teenagers, beast. Never thought about why I called them predators. Slips my mind. You know what should slip your mind, South Carolina? You should slip your mind to vote for her. That's what should slip your mind. Because, see, I don't find any excuse worthy for something like that. It's been burning me up for a month or two. Look it up. You can see it online. This is what she said. Do you realize the damage that crime bill caused people? In that bill, there was 3-strike law. That sent people away for life. Life. That ain't it. 1996, her and Bill Clinton got together and passed the Welfare Reform Act. You know what that did? Yeah, it helped black people, right? Wrong. It didn't help no black people. You know what it did? It pushed black people and poor white people and poor Latino people further into poverty. Marion White Elderman of the Children's Defense Fund says Hillary goes around talking all the time about all the work she did at the Children's Defense Fund. But she leaves out the fact that when she became First Lady, when she passed that act with Bill Clinton, her husband, they hurt a lot of children. Over 1 million of them, to be exact. No one talks about that. No one asks her the tough questions. It takes people like me on the internet who are not afraid of the Clintons to ask tough questions, to tell you the truth, South Carolina. So when she's up there hiding behind Trayvon Martin's mother, who we love, when she's hiding behind Sandra Bland, mother, which we love and feel for, Eric Garner's widow, which we love and feel for, Jordan Davis' mother, which we love and feel for, it does not change the fact that all she's doing is using people. using them to get ahead, because she don't care about you. She don't care about me. She don't care about them. She don't care about no one. White, black, Latino, Asian, nobody. In my heart of hearts, I believe the only person Hillary Clinton really cares about is Hillary Clinton. You got a choice to make Saturday. You can choose Bernie Sanders, a man who believes he wants to be president because he wants to change the world. He wants to make the world a better place. He wants to make America a better place. He wants to help working class people. He's been working to do that for 40 years. He got locked up in the civil rights era for staging sit-ins, fighting against segregation, keeping black folks down. He wanted to fight against that. So you can vote for a man who wants to make the world better, or you can vote for a woman who just wants to be president to become president. That's why she wants to be president. She didn't have a big goal like she wants to make your life better. She wants to make her life better. What does she know about us? Any of us. Unless you're rich. And I'm talking to everybody when I say that. I'm Tim Black. I approve this message. It's up to you, South Carolina. I hope you do the right thing. And the right thing is to vote for Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn.
That's Tim Black testifying again. I love Tim. Thank you for those words, Tim. Thank you for that. Again, I can't speak to it. I'm a privileged white man in this country. But in my personal opinion, if I were black or any other color besides white, and I was listening to Hillary Clinton and looking up her record, actually I wouldn't even need to listen to, I don't even need to look up Hillary Clinton's record. I just don't understand. What is the deal with anybody voting for Hillary Clinton at this point? I don't get it. Forget the Republican side of the world, which, correction, Ted Cruz dropped his hold on the Flint water deal, but apparently there are other senators that could be holding up the legislation. So, gee, whatever. Thanks, Ted. I don't know that it's going to increase your chances of winning. Chris Christie, gas bag of New Jersey, has supported Trump, which seems fitting. So, yay for them. They can work together there on destroying more things. We're happy about that. There are some good things that have happened in the news. We're going to cover a couple good topics. The whole hashtag on the cover of this was release the transcripts, right? Because Hillary doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. I mean, she's the only one holding herself to a standard. The people get to decide. That's an article from Salon we're going to look at, but and actually let's just look at it. I want to read the bottom piece of this article. This is from Salon. We're just gonna read what this guy has to say. I really like it here. This is Bill Curry, Salon Mag. And what he says here is the soft corruption of establishment politics is what we mean when we say the system's rigged. It is Sanders' great advantage. On the overarching issue of the election, he has alone among all the candidates wants what we want. An end to politics as we know it. The best place for him to start is with Obama's 2008 reform agenda and end the backroom revolving doors and no bid contracts. This is what Clinton does, folks. Okay. Clinton knows she can't convince a trade unionist or a single mother that her neoliberal world order is better for them than Bernie's revolution. So she avoids side-by-side policy comparisons and paints him as the other. Okay. You guys, there is nothing that here. There's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do it. Let me frame this up. This is awesome. This is I wanted to run this. This is from SNL. Here's the difference, Hillary. You don't get it. Here's the difference. See if I can make this play right. This is from Saturday Night Live.
During the Democratic debate, Hillary Clinton attacked Bernie Sanders, saying that he needs to be more honest with voters about the difficulty of accomplishing many of his proposals, while Clinton's critics say she has to be honest with voters about all that stuff. And then there's there's more. Oh, wow, okay. Gotta be honest about that stuff.
There. That really sums it up better than I could. How many things Clinton needs to actually be honest about, actually disclose. It's not just about releasing the transcripts, it's about being honest with yourself. You won't even answer the Black Lives Matter protesters' question. You won't even admit that you said these things. When you were talking with him, when you were making sure your Secret Service guy could escort her out the door as fast as possible from your 500-plate dinner to, what, encourage minority voters to vote for you? I don't even know what was there. What was that in South Carolina? What were you doing there, wherever the hell you were? Be honest with us about one thing. Admit that you said what you said. Don't try to spin it another way. It's obvious what you said. You can't spin the net, Hillary, establishment. You cannot spin the net. This is where you are going to fail. This is why we win. We own the net. We know how to use it. We control it. We control it to a certain degree, folks. Keep in mind, that's why I'm calling out for Anonymous, for Occupy. Let's figure out a better way. Okay? When executives at Twitter pull down, scrub an entire hashtag, an entire movement of people in social, we need a way to fight back. We need a way to do something to them. Right? There needs to be repercussions when we are censored. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for global repercussions, or repercussions on that CEO specifically. How do we get him back and uncensor our content? Right? Anyway, it's not about just moving. It's not just about the transcripts. It's about all information, the repression of all information, the burning of books. When a hashtag is scrubbed from the net, it's burning a library of books. It's burning the truth. It's no different than what Nazi Germany did in the 30s. It is no different than what you read about in books like Fahrenheit 451. People, we live in that reality. We have a government that is oppressive and is not interested in doing the will of the people anymore. We have a battle on our hands. Here's a little positive note. Occasionally, the YouTube copyright system works in the favor of the people. And Hillary Clinton, I love it how all of these establishment candidates just borrow tunes without asking. I'm going to borrow this tune because that musician's not going to give a shit. Most musicians are liberal, and most musicians see through bullshit. Okay, so Hillary trying to use this tune, Bikini, I don't even know who this, I didn't even know this was going to, Bikini Kills Riot Girl Classic Rebel Girl. To make Hillary Clinton look like she's some kind of a radical feminist revolutionary. I've not seen it, but here's the great part, is that it got a takedown. Happens to us, and all they had to do was go into their content ID system, into the YouTube content ID system. Yes, Hillary's using our tune. We don't want her to be using that anymore. Dink. So fuck you, Hillary. I love the fact that that happened. I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. It's nice. It's nice when the people win occasionally. It's nice. My unself, I agree. That is disheartening to see so many baby boomers that used to be activists, judgmental of the status quo, literally going against their parents head to head. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's really sad how many of the people that were radicals in the 60s or people that understood what was going on in that movement now are stuck with the establishment. They've just become indoctrinated. This is a cycle. We just need to break the cycle with transparency. Transparency breaks this cycle. And we are moving towards a transparent world. The end of the corporate age. The corporate age was all about privacy, about hiding information so that one corporation could be better than another. But we're moving to an age of the people, where we're going to share information openly, like Elon Musk has done with all the Tesla patents. Here, he said, here's all of the technology, all of the work we've done. Make it better. Take it and make it better for society. That is a steward of industry. That is a steward of this planet. I want to work with Elon Musk's of the world. I want those kind of people running our government and in politics. I want those kind of people rebuilding our planet. That is the new way. That is the progressive way. That is the people's way. It is the end of the corporate age, folks. The end of the corporate age. So we get to this article. Just to remind everybody, this is so the reason I entitled the show today, release the transcripts, is because there was a press release from Michael Briggs, the Sanders camp, saying that this was just pushed out. It's an article in the New York Times saying Mrs. Clinton, show voters those transcripts. Everybody does it is an excuse expected from a mischievous child, not a presidential candidate. Again, I ask everybody voting for Hillary Clinton, why do you see her as a presidential candidate? She is unelectable at this point. She is under investigation by the FBI. The State Department has to release more emails, and every time they release emails, we find out something else. She's sold F-15s as Christmas presents and rejoiced over their sale to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what more information we need to provide here, but Hillary released those transcripts, and we can look at the different things she said. So many people have asked her to release them. Please release the transcript. On February 18th, the man in the audience said, please release those transcripts just so we know exactly where you stand. Mrs. Clinton had told him, I'm happy to release anything I have when everybody else does the same. Now she's including Republicans in that. Well, you're not running against Republicans right now. You're running against Bernie Sanders. And I think we should make a big point of that, folks. We need to make a big point of that. Release the transcripts because, and I don't know, I think that should be the hashtag of today until it gets scrubbed by the executive of Twitter. Let's see how fast we can blow it up, and then see how fast it gets scrubbed by the executives at Twitter for their party on Sunday. And let's see what we can do about that party on Sunday. I bet we could do something very disruptive on Sunday about that party. Let's find out where it is. Let's see if we can crash it. Let's see if we can bring live camera in there. I would love to do that. I would love to facilitate that if anybody's willing to go there. It's time to fight this war with some better weapons. So I'm asking for help on what we do there. Because I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of having our voice shut down by executives, by suits and ties who want to keep the establishment regime in power. Rah, rah, rah. Told you I was in a bad mood today, folks. Told you I was going to be ranty. Everybody else ran away. Oh no, Scott's there. He's being quiet in the background. Yes, just reading that. What else do I got to cover today? We looked at that. That was funny. Oh, nah, just a reminder. Just a reminder. I don't even need to change the lower third. I mentioned this the other day, but I thought this was just a reminder. This is like audacious. Chamber of Commerce lobbyist Tom Dunno, or Hugh, Clinton will support TPP after election. He basically, he's in an interview with from Davos with Bloomberg TV on January 20th, this dude assured viewers that if Hillary Clinton wins the presidential election, she will support the TPP even though she opposes it now. Can somebody just... Everybody, that article link is in the description. Grab that article link and share it in email with anybody you know right now that is still voting for Hillary Clinton, with any baby boomer you know that doesn't look to the internet, but they figured out email. We need to blast them with this information. The same person who says one thing is going to do something different, and here's a dude, a lobbyist, confident, on public television, confidently saying, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Hillary's going to back the TPP because we know her record. We know she says one thing but does what we need her to do because we've paid her millions and millions of dollars to do what we need her to do.
Wait. Did she really say she opposes the TPP? I haven't heard it yet.
I don't think she said she opposes it.
She just said that as far from what she knows, it doesn't meet her standards.
Well,
so,
okay, it doesn't meet her standards, so...
further research, and it actually does meet my standards. She hasn't come out and said that there's anything wrong with it.
Good point. Good point. So yeah, I'm sorry. So the quote is interesting in the way it's read, though, because this is the quote from the guy, right? Well, actually, here, the chamber president said he expected Hillary Clinton would ultimately support the TPP if she becomes the Democratic nominee for president and is elected. He argued that she has publicly opposed the deal, chiefly because her main challenger, Senator Bernie Sanders, has also done so. So let's get to the real point. It doesn't matter whether she truly opposes it or not. This guy says she's really only doing that or saying that because Bernie Sanders is saying it.
It's just like the Keystone Pipeline.
What?
I was there when she finally took a position on the Keystone Pipeline. It was in this elementary school in Des Moines. And all she said was, I oppose it because it's a distraction. She didn't say it was because it was dirty fuel and bad for the environment. She just said it's a distraction.
Right. Yeah. This is here. I'll read the last part of this. It's, if she were to get nominated, if she were to be elected, I have a hunch that what runs in the family is you get a little practical if you ever get the job, he said. I'm not even sure what he's insinuating there, other than I don't know. I don't even know what he's saying there, really. That's what he's trying to say there. But I'm not worried about it. In that side, he's not worried about it, right? You're right, Scott. She never said. I don't think she ever really did say she opposed it. She just said, what? That didn't meet her standard, whatever the hell is. And
she kept having these three, like it has to protect jobs and the environment and these three things. And then she said, from what she knew, it didn't meet those standards. So that. And the media, oh, she's opposed to it, but she never really said that she opposes it.
Interesting. Of course not. I'm playing around here with things. So that's Hillary bashing, folks. That's the Hillary bashing today. I don't think I had anything else I want to cover there. Bernie Sanders has a new ad, People Before Polluters. Let's run that real quick. And then, actually, before we run the Bernie Sanders new ad, I want to bring up this. When we talk about Obama doing things or getting things done, all right, this is the speed of establishment, right? Now, this would look good. Obama bans U.S. imports of slave-produced goods. Yay! Bill was signed, but it's a loophole that's been around for 85 years. 85 years we've been buying slave goods, right? And there's all sorts of stuff coming out about this now. Let's not talk about how about Nestle Corporation and its line of Sheba cat food. I think it's Nestle. Sheba cat food, even though Nestle's a piece of shit. We can talk about them anyway. Made by slave children in Taiwan, right? But the U.S. They put this information. Obama bans U.S. imports. I think this is hilarious because I don't know how that's even going to stop things. We push a ban on it, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. This is your establishment claiming they accomplish things. Is this kind of shit? We need an overhaul. Okay? This is Obama putting a piece of bubble gum on a rubber tire of our vehicle. Our vehicle needs a new engine, a new body. We got a lot of work to do on the government vehicle that we have that is not really functioning all that well right now. Man, you guys are doing all sorts of awesome comments, and I'm like totally missing them. I've been really you forget the donations after the F-15 sales, right? You're absolutely right. So to make sure we tie that all in together, folks, it wasn't just that the F-15 sales happened and that made a lot of money for the Defense Department sales force, which they actually have one. They actually have a division of the United States government that operates separately on its own. I don't know where they get their funding, probably our tax dollars. But their job is to sell our weapons around the world. And they get cheers, kudos, always be closing, right? Glengarry, Glenn Ross, these are the guys around selling our weapons around the world. They just happily sold some M1 Abrams tanks to Iraq for $2.4 billion. I'm not sure where we get any money out of that or what we get back out of that. But yeah, the F-15. So what happened? This is how the triangle works, folks. Hillary Clinton, make sure we get some sales as State Department person for Boeing. Right? Boeing makes these F-15s, and what happens is right after this deal goes down, Boeing drops a big chunk of change into the Clinton Foundation. And the Clinton Foundation has been busted hiding money away. It's not hard to see the truth. It's just hard to wake America up. We have to wake the rest of America up. We have thieves, liars running for office. We have one man offering us a chance to get out of this alive. One man offering us a chance to survive. And as Tim Canova said yesterday, Florida, 20 years, going to lose a lot of beach property. You're going to have a fucked up coastline in 20 years, 10 years. Who knows what the storms are doing? I know there was a massive storm that outed the power in Janine's area. She was saying the other day, 60 degrees, tornadoes, crazy shit going on down there. You all know the weather's not normal. You all know things aren't right. We have one chance. One chance. I was going to end with our end song, but I want to end with something different. This is from 2011. This is Atari Teenage Riot, Black Flags. This is the WikiLeaks Edit 3 featuring Boots Riley / Anonymous. And this is from 2011. This has a lot of hits. This came out during the Occupy movement. And I bring it up because that kind of effort, that kind of guerrilla warfare is what we need to get back into now so that we still have a medium, an internet, to blast our information to, because they are starting to work on silencing us better. They are starting to find ways of stopping our movements, like Which Hillary hashtags. And we're going to need to figure out a way to subvert that. I don't know what it is, but WikiLeaks, no matter what you think of Julian Assange and whatever's going on with him and that stuff, WikiLeaks is an essential entity when fighting a globally oppressive establishment regime. And without WikiLeaks, without people like Edward Snowden, WikiLeaks, and other entities that help bring the truth, help uncover the truth, without entities like this, we would all be in the dark still. And the oppression would just continue to get worse and worse, and we would not be able to organize. We would not know what's really going on. So I urge you to help support WikiLeaks in what it does, and other entities that are about promoting the truth above establishment bullshit. If we see you later today, maybe, not sure what's going on. The newsroom tomorrow, 9 a.m., noon Eastern for the rest of the world. Thank you all for being here. Feel the burn, everybody. You know what we have to do. You know that we're in a war. And we're not fighting for an election. We're not fighting for the next 4 years. We're fighting for the difference between a planet to live on and slave labor and an oppressive regime on a really hot rock. Those are our choices. Feel the burn, everybody.
I am here to show solidarity with the Occupy London movement. In our experience over the last 5 years, the most frequent attacks on our organization have not been even by intelligence organizations or military organizations. They have, in fact, been by banks.
Atari Teenage Riot. Anonymous Teenage Riot. No justice, no peace. Are you ready to testify? Are you ready to testify? as the unified axis of government and corporate power. Lawless and unrestrained, that's what we should talk about. Corporations exploit the power of the state to further enhance their power, and the real criminals get away. Are you ready to testify? Are you ready to testify? Black flags! Are you ready to testify? You got 2 seconds! Are you ready to testify? Come on! Don't you threaten the system. You have the full weight of law come crashing down upon you, so you don't resist. Surveillance, goons, force us to be silent. They kill the careers of journalists, so no one can resist.
My flow is butters like they shut up my water. I got the share back to me for what I say about Obama. My flag is red like a period, comma. I'm a piranha just like every one of y'all. Let's take that show to the slaughter. Here we gotta be bouncing more than last month's rent check. The boss walking Wall Street with a pimp step. People are Rubia. We need to slip the Krishna. We low paid prostitutes with no fishnets. It's Shabby Reed and Scott in design. To Homeland Security, we are the bomb. Inform the house staff, the mob's on the lawn. And it ain't no soiree, illness, hip hop on. They call this black flag, but I'm not an anarchist. I'm on some simple hammer shit, collecting Bruce Banner shit. Over a piano pitch, calculate the hammer hit. We're here collecting damages and hand and knuckle sandwiches.
People cannot wear masks in London. They cannot wear facial coverings in London, and that basic anonymity is denied to people. I say that sometimes it may be legitimate to deny that anonymity, but we should not accept it until Swiss bank accounts and offshore bank accounts are also denied of their anonymity.
Are you ready to testify? Are you ready to testify? Black flags! Are you ready to testify? You got 2 seconds! Are you ready to testify?
To find out more about WikiLeaks' financial blockade and how to donate, please visit wikileaks.org/support.html.
Huge